Hello everyone. Now let's continue with our video sessions on the English language and communication classes at ULTS. So the last class which we stopped, the video session that we stopped, I hope you are in touch with those two videos. We did the tenses, we were doing the tenses, and we did the past tense and we did the present tense and different types of both the tenses. Now let me give a quick review on what we did. We did three major types of tenses, an overview, and I specifically told you each one has got 4 types of tenses. The past has 4 types, the present has 4 types. We saw some of the examples in the past tense, in the present tense. And also we had given you some of the assignments which a few of you have done, some of you have not yet done. So we would want you to please go back and check after each video. We have given you notes and a small exercise wherein you can practice and make sure that what you have learned is intact there and you have applied that, because like they say, within you learning a new concept, make sure that you are doing it within 24 hours of you learning it, so that it stays in your mind. And we often don't make mistakes, and when we are adults it is all the more important, because certain things are stereotyped in our mind. It is there, fixed in our mind. It's very difficult to change. So unless you practice that, it will not happen. So I've always been telling and repeating in the classes that let's go for a practice after learning each new concept. So before I get ahead into the next session and the next topic for the day, let me remind you, between the last video that we did and today, we have already completed 3 rounds of in-person, not in-person, I would say live online classes with you, where we had a lot of interaction with you, and we gave you a lot of insights on different phrases that can be used, the collocations that can be used when you are in an office scenario, the business writing skills. So all that needs to be practiced and connected back. Okay, so I'm taking it up from my previous video to what we are doing currently. Okay, so after the past tense, the present tense, we are going ahead to the future tense. So let me quickly share the future tense. Future tense, as you all are aware, I think usually in all the learning experiences, one of the best tenses which generally students and participants enjoy to do is future tense, because it's easier, the rules are easier. But again, future is also divided into the 4 types or 4 categories which we saw. You have a simple future tense, you have future continuous tense, you have future perfect tense, and you have this future perfect continuous tense, which is a little more complex again. But otherwise, generally, the rules of future tense and the way we use future tense are simpler, because you have less verbs to be used with them. So that was about future tense, but then we will see it one by one with examples so that we don't forget them. So here you go, and here we have our future tenses and how are we going to deal with them. All right. So let's get to the first type of future tense, which is simple future tense. Okay. Now, simple future tense, let's look at the structure of the sentence or how it would be. Like any of the previous 2 ones we did, you have a subject, plus you can either use will or shall, plus you have the first form of verb. Now here I had a couple of them asking me doubts when I write V1 or V2 or V3. What do I mean exactly? I would tell you by the end of this video what are these V1, V2, V3. I had in brief told you, I'll share another document and show you. I had in brief told you V1, V2, V3 are different forms of verbs, where V1 represents the base form of the verb, V2 represents the simple form of the verb, and V3 represents the participle form of the verb. let's look at different verbs and how do they match and where you should learn these things. I would tell you towards the end of this video, but for now let's learn few examples. The structure of simple future tense would be any subject. Let's look at some subject. Let's say I take up the subject to be Ram, which is an easier name that comes to my mind, or I would take up the subject to be any name. Let's say Ram will, shall, and just add the first form of verb. You can add any type of first form of word. You can add come, go, eat, dance. Ram will come, Ram will go, Ram will dance, Ram will be happy, or anything that you want to add. Be happy is not a verb, be is a verb. Alright, so that's easier to remember. You have a subject, you have shall or will, you have the first form of verb. And then how to use that and which situation or which context you should be using it. See, just by virtue of knowing the rules does not mean you are able to just use it anywhere. You've got to look at the context where you are using these verbs. So use with situation that will happen in future and have an adverb of time to indicate that, the adverb of time should definitely be there. Will, because it is an expectation which you are setting up in the future. It might happen, it may happen, it will happen. Okay, so always use it along with some situations which are going to happen in the near future. An example has been given to you. Namwan will go to study at America in the next 2 months. So, that is one of the examples. You can add any. I would suggest when you are trying to learn, when you are repeating it to yourself, you got to repeat it to yourself. So, when you are repeating it to yourself, repeat the simpler ones to start learning. And then from simple to complex, I hope you remember when I taught you in the sentence structure formation while we were learning business English. I specifically started it with the simple to complex. So when you are learning a language, it is always easier, makes it easier for you to remember when you go from simple to complex. Next is future continuous tense. Continuous tense has been one which all of us have been doing it great because there is an ing, that's the gerund that is being used. So you have your subject as usual. There is will be, because we are adding ing there. Will be is the correct usage plus the verb, and you are going to add the ing in the end. Okay, so let's take some examples. Just look it for yourself. Think of a subject. This time I would say books. Okay, books as my subject, and I'm going to add will be. Okay, so and what would be the verb which I can associate with books will be. We can write down for them in this case, because books are the object, so books will be available for reading. So reading is it became a little complicated. We can make it simple also. Let me take some living object or living being, as an example. Let's say dogs. Okay, so I can say dogs will be barking tonight. Okay, or let's say dogs will be running tonight. Something, and again, like I said, there is an adverb here which is specified in the near future. Tonight is the near future. You got to be specific in giving an example, because the adverb of time is important in this case. So that's for your future continuous tense, and use the future continuous tense where you got to indicate that something is going to happen in a specific time. That is when I said, dogs will be barking tonight. Okay, so it is very clear and evident. Next is future continuous. Some of the examples of the future continuous tense. She will be sleeping when I visit her. We will not be having dinner at home. Will you be coming to party tonight? So all these are will be, will not be, positive or negative. In both senses you can use. Okay, I will be reading a book when you come for playing. Okay, or I shall be going to market when you have some. So there's a clause always there where you can give two particular situations or two particular instances. The next type is future perfect tense. Okay, now what is future perfect tense? Again, here's where you got to be a little careful. Wherever, whether it is future, whether it is present, or whether it is past, wherever you see this future perfect tense, we got to use the subject plus will have plus the third form of the verb. That is past participle or any participle form. If it is past tense, use past participle. So that perfect part of it comes from the third form of the verb that you are using. So the future perfect expresses the idea that something will occur before another action in the future. Something has to happen before something else. Let's look at some examples here. First of all, just let's look at some example using only the structure which is given here. Subject. I'll pick up the subject this time. Let me take the subject as Sita. Sita will have and use the third form of the verb anything. Sita will have eaten the breakfast by 7 a.m. tomorrow. Sita would have read, will or would, if you can use it. Sita will have read the book by evening tomorrow. Okay, or Sita will have completed her chores by morning tomorrow. So you are expecting the person to have completed certain things, or you are expecting the person or the action to be completed or to be taken before a timeline that you are giving. Now the future perfect expresses the idea that something will occur before a timeline that you're giving, exactly what it came out to be. The best way to do this is put your sentences in subject plus will plus have plus third form. Try putting it on your own. Don't look at the examples which are given below. Try putting on your own and it will automatically form into it will fall into the context which we are talking about. So for example, I will have eaten breakfast at 8 o'clock tomorrow. I will have gone to Delhi by next week by this time tomorrow, or I will be at Delhi by this time tomorrow. For me, whichever way that you have to use, but the idea is to use subject plus will or shall plus have plus the third form of verb. Forms of verb we are going to discuss towards the end of this presentation. The next one, again a few more examples of future perfect tense. If suppose for example you have two different events, okay, and the first event can always use the future perfect tense and the second event can always use a simple past tense. That's a combination of sentences which we use. First event, you got to use the future perfect tense, and in the second one, the simple present tense. I will have cleaned the floor when my mom gets home. So if you look at it, I will have cleaned the floor is a future perfect tense. When my mom gets home is sometimes a simple present tense, or sometimes even when my mom gotten home is also possible. So I will have cleaned the floor when my mom gets home. Whichever way, the simple form of tenses to be used there is very important. So once again, taking you to future perfect tense, the formula why I want to repeat future perfect is that's where you get a little confused, which is not used normally. Perfect tense is not used normally in our system of speaking or writing, but it is always good to include because it sets expectations. These kind of sentences sets expectations. So subject plus will plus have plus the third form of the verb. The future perfect expresses the idea that something will occur before another action. The subject will have third form of the verb. Don't forget that and use that whenever, and use in two contexts, either along with the present simple tense or along with the past simple tense. Okay. Now we'll go into the fourth one and the final category, which is future perfect continuous tense. You have future perfect continuous tense. Here the only difference is the first one we added will shall, in the second one we added will shall plus verb plus ing. third one we added will plus have plus the third form of verb. Here it is will have been plus present participle mood. So here the difference is you don't use the participle in any further form but the present form, because the action is going to happen, it hasn't happened already. So let's say we use the now subject plus will have been plus present participle. Let's look at the example. I will have been eating breakfast for 30 minutes at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Very rarely used type of sentences in our day-to-day language, but still it is important that you ought to know them. So hence we explain it here. Used to project ourselves forward in time and to look back. See, we are doing two activities at the same time. Okay. So you would be doing this for this many long time. The half an hour of your time tomorrow will be spent on having breakfast at 8 o'clock. Now you are exactly predicting the actions, which is very rare to be used in your regular life or regular routine. So this was about your this was mostly about your future tense. And now let's look at the three types of verbs, or the three forms of verbs that we were about to look at, right? Now, like I said in the beginning, that we are usually confused with what are these different forms of verbs, or where do we get to know, okay, which form of verb to be used. So I would suggest please go back and look into, I've given a list here, we can use this, I can send you this list. At the same time, I would want to say the base form is always called the first form of the verb. Like for example, you have the list of verbs given here: abide, arise, awake, be, bear, beat, become, befall, beget, begin, behold, bend, bereave, beseech, beset, bespeak. There are many of them. There's a huge list that I have given here. And at the same time, the second part of this verb, or this past simple past part, is the second form of the verb, just in case, where become, became, and the final is past participle. Most of the times it is similar to either the first form or the second form, or they have an en towards the end. For example, if you look at the word dream, you have dream, dreamt, dreamt. But if you look at the word drink, all the three forms are different. You have drink, drank, drunk, drive, drove, driven, eat, ate, eaten, fall, fell, fallen, feed, fed, fed, feel, felt, felt, fight, fought, fought, find, found, found. So there are many of them. This comes by virtue of not memorizing, but that is why I would not insist you to memorize. The reason why I shared this list here, and I'm going to share with your Google Classroom, is because in order for you to be aware of these are the words and these are the forms which needs to be used when I say verb 1, verb 2 or verb 3. But memorizing is not a good way to do it. Maybe some of you who think that you're very strong in memorizing, you can try in the beginning. But end of the day, you will be remembering them only when you are able to keep them, in practice and use them in practice. So let's once again go back and repeat what we did, about the future tense. We studied four different types of future tenses. The first one was a simple future tense. The second one was future continuous tense. The third one, future perfect tense. And the final one, future perfect continuous tense, and with few examples. What I'll be doing is I will be sharing some of the exercises and the notes about these tenses along with the video in the notes section and in the assignment section. So all we want you to do is go through the video, take it slow, take it one by one. It is okay, and try doing this self-talk to yourself after each formula that you're doing. Do not go by the examples which I have given you in the video. Go by the examples which you have it, and keep doing it. The best perfect way of learning is self-paced learning. So you don't have to interact with us, but as the video goes on, Please do keep talking to yourself, keep thinking to yourself, pause it whenever you want it, do repeat it, then go ahead. The best opportunity to learn. So I hope you'll all make use of this opportunity. Do keep following the classrooms, Google Classrooms, and comment and do respond with your queries there. So thank you so much and have a great day ahead, and we will see you with the next video. Thanks a lot.